the November 21st meeting of the Heritage Commission is called to order, and we need to do roll call. Helen Percy, Christine Arnold, Deirdre Murphy. Here. Karen Nagel. Here. So we have a quorum. Yay. Okay, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First thing on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes. Now we've got some problems with the minutes from last month. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them. I went through the video and then went over the minutes. And so there are just a few things I think that have to be corrected.
We can do an addendum to the minutes.
Okay, is that the way that goes? Okay.
I believe
So
so.
do we need to discuss each correction?
We can do that, sure.
Or do we just turn in an addendum?
No, I think we should view the corrections.
Okay. The most vital is there was a vote that we took on the trifold and appropriations for the funds for the trifold update, because it has two buildings on it that have been demolished. And it's our large display one that we take, and so it needs to be updated, and it's going to be costly, so that has to come out of the budget. And so we voted on it. Carrie made the motion, and Karen seconded it, and it passed unanimously. So that vote needs to be put into the addendum.
Okay, so on item 7.
Well, actually, it wasn't even there. It's not included at all. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I just stuck it in there.
Okay, so we're going to make an addendum to the minutes for October 17, 2023, to include the vote for the trifold update. Carrie made the motion, and it was seconded by
Karen.
Okay. And then on item number 8, the announcement next meeting for the Heritage Commission would be, it's not council, it would be commission, would be on December 21st.
November. That was today.
It should be or November 21st, right, instead of November 14th.
And then no meeting.
And then there will be no meeting in December to be included.
We really need to change that.
Then up on item D, the workshop for the wreath, we're going to change destruction to construction.
Our wreath destruction workshop. And I think we've got one.
And there's one more under item 6. That we need to add the City Hall and the library to the historical education field trip. And under B, historical education, it should be inserted field trip, not just trip.
Okay.
So all those items would be an addendum to the minutes. And I guess we need to make a motion. Yeah. So I make a motion to addend the minutes to include all of the changes.
A second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes. The Boo on the Boulevard was excellent.
Yes, it was.
And hopefully, let's see, what can we do better for next year?
Have it on Halloween. I heard a lot about that. As a,
Well, that's not up to us.
I know.
Although I think the city's going to be doing it again next year, and we'll have a new city manager by that time. So
But truth being, though, I mean, we are part of the city government,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and so our event, such as the Heritage Commission, Boo on the Boulevard, should be in coordination with what
The
date
ci-
the
Oh,
city
yes.
has
Right.
it. You know, I
Make a
mean,
recommendation or something.
Right.
According to population
Right.
around, that it was said, why are we doing this 2 times, especially when it's so close?
It's
Well-
because the police officers didn't want to close the road on a weekday.
Right.
That's why,
which is
yeah.
understandable.
Well, but the thing is, you still have the same foot traffic on Halloween.
Exactly.
Halloween.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
still-
Halloween is Halloween.
It's still busy out there.
Right. and
Yeah,
The
so
kids
should
need traffic
Also,
control one way or
if
the
it was
other.
Halloween, it would probably take some of that away from right here, because it was so concentrated.
Well, and
Yeah.
they added the movie this year too, which I think they probably couldn't do that with Halloween because at 7:30 the kids were
Right.
all bedded down over there for a
Right.
movie. So it would have to be done differently to be done on Halloween, but I agree with you. I like having both of them on the same day. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And I think we could, we basically had a Photoshop kind of area so
Yes.
that kids could take their pictures. And I think what would be a good addition
Mhm.
would be to have the Heritage Commission banner maybe behind that.
Well, the banner was
Or
not,
somewhere
I couldn't get a hold
in
of the banner. The
Yeah.
banner was supposed to be there. So,
But adding the banner
Yeah,
just
the
so
banner
that it
does need to be there.
shows that, you know, we're the Heritage Commission, not just,
let's
you
see,
know,
these are the,
another house that's being set up for,
Yeah.
but
If
it
you
was,
had-
it was excellent.
Right. If you had, yeah, that would, I didn't get a chance to get over there, but from pictures I saw. But if you had people off the street, and I didn't know you put your sign up here, but I said something about it to them.
we had 2 signs out, yeah.
Yeah, and they walked right past it. I mean, not insulting.
You're right.
It just wasn't big enough to do, but people were out and around more than concentrated right here. That type of thing they would find or see, rather than, you know, they weren't concentrated on anything except what was up and down this street,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
We could do a booth, but then you wouldn't have the whole spooky
Right.
house as the backdrop
Yes.
for it.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good idea, and they look for people and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was just because of the
Right.
intentions here, not through the whole neighborhoods and area.
Yeah.
that-
If it was on Halloween, they would be through
Yes,
that.
exactly.
And two, we can better advertise it.
Mhm.
So next year, we can have in the paper that, you know, it's, that Boo on the Boulevard is going to be these blocks.
Yeah.
And in addition to,
Mhm.
the Heritage Commission, right behind the library, will have a photo booth so that you can take pictures, you know, on
Right.
the hay sacks and whatnot, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, this year we've added a few new events, and so we're just kind of, these are like our little
Yeah.
test events.
Right.
Put them out there and see how we can do them better and if they work.
Sure.
Like this is the second year for the wreaths, so
Uh-huh.
hopefully we'll be better at it this
Yeah.
year than last
Everything.
year. We
Everything
learned.
always needs tweaking.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you gotta start somewhere.
Well, we need more cooperation with the city, between the Heritage Commission and the city, and hopefully next year we'll have that.
Yes.
You know, so we can get we can get in on the city advertisement for Boo on the Boulevard. Maybe they can put, you know,
Well, you can say
Yeah,
that.
that's
There was
it, yes.
At least 2 different times advertised.
Right.
Some things said 5 and some said 5:30.
right.
I mean, that was even a mess for.
We'll just have to
the
work
people
more
that
closely with
showing
the,
up to
We
the
will.
events.
yeah.
We will.
Mhm.
hopefully that'll be a possibility. Let's see, so, also, this is something that Carrie wanted me to add to this. I thought it was a good idea. They want to do, she wants to add a paddleboard event, the Witches Paddleboard event, like they do in Melrose.
Right.
That one's
Saw that.
full, apparently, or you have to get on a waiting list.
Uh-huh.
And so, I put it on the agenda. This time, I guess we'll just keep adding it to see if that's a possibility.
Right, well,
Someone,
nothing at the lakes were gonna come up, and that could be on the weekend, and maybe they could make some weekend activities,
Right.
just not trick or treat.
well, yeah, we can't do the paddleboard at
Yeah.
the same time as Boo on the Boulevard. That's
Right,
just
no,
that's too
no.
much.
Yeah, and if they want to do their movies or to do something else on
Mhm.
maybe the Saturday before,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
have, you know, the other, kind of spread it out, so.
I think the paddleboard
I
is
think
really,
that's a good idea.
really cool.
Yeah, it's very, very popular.
Mhm.
And people have a blast. If you've ever seen the one in Melrose, it's just fun, fun, fun.
We'll keep it on the agenda, you know, on and off for
Right.
next year and work on that as we,
Right.
but that'll be another thing to add for
Yes.
next year. Yesteryear's festival in January, we still have no information on their website about that. It's held in Golden Head.
Right.
And so we're still, but as soon as we do, then it's pretty simple. It's just a table and our trifold won't be updated by then.
Right.
But it's just an outreach.
I can call over there. I go to Gold Head at least 3-4 days a week.
Mhm.
So, to walk, it's a great place to walk. And so, I can just call and ask the
Mhm.
manager there who, the park ranger, they have a person in charge. So, I did that.
Okay. Let's see. Next is the luncheon. We have our member appreciation luncheon. December 2nd. And I need to get all the RSVPs for that. Now we
That's
have
today, right? Aren't they supposed to be all in today?
all of the ones from the surrounding area that we invited was the 13th.
Okay.
And so we have firm RSVPs with delegations with, multiple people, anywhere from 2 to 4 from Orange Park, Palatka, Petty Farms, and Clay County.
Do we have a head count on each of those for food?
I do,
miles?
I
Okay.
do. I
Okay,
have a head count, except for Palatka didn't get back to me with the head count, but we can, I think they have, 4 was the initial. She said she would
Okay.
get back to me with the final, and she hasn't. But we need, from our associate members, we need the RSVPs so that we've got a head count for that. Orange Blossoms Catering, and so I need to get together with you guys, and we need to approve some items.
Okay.
So that I can get back with them. I think I had emailed you the menu,
Yes,
right?
that was great.
Yep, well, they have a lot of items to choose from, but we'll probably, try to keep it simple. Clay said the chicken salad croissant was they have the demographics over there at Orange Blossom for age group, and he classified us as old ladies. And among the old ladies, the
That's
chicken
fine.
salad
Well.
croissant was their most popular thing.
All right.
So, anyway, we can take a look at the prices, add in. We're starting off with a fresh budget. I think this one is important. I had invited, now I'm drawing a blank on her name, over in Green Cove Springs.
Is she?
Vichy. I had invited her. She got back with me immediately and said she had something else booked on that date. But she would have been the person that, all of us, all the groups, the Heritage Commission groups and the Historical Society groups, because she runs the archives for Clay County. And so I would like to pre-book her for next year. This is something I'd like to do every year, and develop that connection with all of the groups in the Clay County, this area, but include Melrose. Melrose never got back to me. Include Melrose and Flora Home and any other small group, so that we can all kind of pull together and network,
Right.
pull our resources.
They have a growing group down there.
Do they? I don't think it was on my list. We started off with the initial list and there were like 20 groups, but we could add them.
Has anyone reached out to Dan Hildebrandt or John Cottrell regarding, doing any kind of a publicity thing? In
Who
the
are
paper?
these people?
Oh, they write the articles for the Herald and
Oh, okay.
in the paper.
No, I have no outreach to the
Okay.
press.
Okay, I can reach out to them
Okay.
and tell them that we're having this event. They might want to just cover it.
That would be excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't, that's not something
Okay.
I've added in the last few months. You can be our press department.
No. But I'll do this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of been my experience in the last little bit that the reporters just kind of like to watch the videos and do an article. But it would be really nice to have them.
Oh, it's
What about Heroes?
Harold's daughter, right? What's her name?
I knew he was gonna ask. But she usually comes to everything.
Yeah,
And she's.
we just have to give her a call. Okay, Harold's daughter. Good.
Okay.
That's
Is,
who-
is she an
that's who-
associate member?
No.
Okay,
No, she works for me.
good. Okay,
Okay, I will reach out to her.
all right. Yeah, I'd kind of like to, you know, we need to do, I feel we need to do an associate member appreciation where we really appreciate our associate
Yes.
members.
Yes.
Because you guys show up. And we have, the Heritage Commission is getting more active. Nina started that, you know, just we have a public outreach. For one thing, for me, as the historian, it's to build the database. I get more access to people and everything, although now that I'm chair, it's like organizing. I wish somebody else would do it, but the associate members make it so much easier. It's impossible to do all this stuff
Yes.
without the associate members. There's just too much going on. And this, even though we're adding the other heritage commissions and historic societies, I think the major emphasis needs to be on appreciation. So you guys are not going to have to do anything for it. It's going to be catered. And
Show up.
right,
Hey, Christine.
yeah.
I just sent you something last night about a reporter that was wanting information on local happenings in this area.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah, she had it on Facebook, word of mouth. Jessica Blakeman. It says, are there any local stories that you'd like to be on the news but aren't? I'm in journalism class and trying to think of local stories to write about. I'm most interested in acts of kindness or local events.
Is she associated with the paper, or is she just writing for all the different ones?
I have no idea, I just forwarded it to you last night.
So,
Okay.
she's a student.
she's a student.
Doing some research.
Yeah.
Well, that's excellent, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, all hands on deck. We can use it. She
What
can-
was her number?
It was on Keystone Word of Mouth. I have her name, but not her number.
Okay.
I'm sure that you could click on her profile page and get
What was
whatever.
Does she want to put it on the word of mouth, or where does
She
she want to
did,
put
that's
it?
where she put it. It was Keystone Word of Mouth. I guess she's looking.
Do you wanna-
Was it the best of, or was it just the regular one?
Regular.
Regular?
See, he saw it too.
Wouldn't that
Okay.
be something you'd like to proof before she does it? though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can start her out with, well, we
Rather
could,
than her opinion.
Yes.
Well, given the fact that all the Facebook word of mouths and all of that is just
Well,
out there.
we could start her out with the luncheon. You know, I mean, that's pretty benign,
Give her
you
a
know?
trial run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So we do, like I said.
Natalie, that's her name.
Oh,
It was coming to me.
Oh, the daughter?
The daughter's name is Natalie.
She's with young girls.
Yes, she is. All right.
Okay. Now, see, it has nothing to do, when I was watching the video to get the notes and I realized how much I cough, I'm allergic to the formaldehyde in this stuff.
oh.
And I get up here and it's hard to breathe, so it's, so I'm coughing all through the meetings. Let's see, the luncheon, and so like I said, by the end of the day, we really need to have a final on
Contact-
selection. We don't need we need the head count and we need a selection for catering.
Right.
And we don't need to vote on that or anything, so we
No.
can maybe tackle that during the workshop.
Right.
Let's see, new business, the historic oak presentation. Okay. We want to get a designation for the oak here in the park. Now, Sandra had come up with an idea from one of her travels. You want to tell us about it? Your suggestion for the oak?
Thomasville has a big oak tree like that too. And you can go online and go to the city hall and stand over there in front of the tree. They've got a camera across the street. And you text it and it takes pictures of you in front of the tree and then sends it to your phone.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's cool.
I don't know how they set it up, but it's
Oh.
pretty, I mean, it's pretty cool. You can take as many pictures as you want.
Well, if Thomasville has done it, then there's somebody there who knows what they've done.
Right.
Okay, I reached out to Mr. Hobbs with the Master Gardeners.
Yeah. He's great.
North Florida.
Yeah.
And, oh, I don't even need to pull it up. He said, and I asked him about getting an age for the tree. We need an age in order to have it designated.
Right.
And he said the only way to do it for sure is to bore into the tree.
Oh,
Which has its dangers. You could injure the tree, which everyone said, oh, no, you know, because it was Carrie's idea to have the tree designated. But
And they can't just do it based on the girth?
no, he gave a list of arborists
Okay.
that he said that have the qualifications. You have to have a certain certification before you can do something like that. And so we can get together, reach out to one of these arborists or a few of them to try to get a date on the tree.
U of M.
He was, a lot of his qualifications were with U of F, but he didn't have the qualification he needed. The ones that he gave me, some of them were with UF. But it was who the master gardeners would accept for that kind of thing, so.
And I reached out to Beth Carson with Clay County, and she gave me the verbiage that we would need to go to the city council. Once we have all of our other ducks in a row, then we would have this specific verbiage that we would then ask them if this is something that they would want to do as a city.
yeah, just ask, does the tree belong to the library property?
It's a city property.
It is
It's
city property.
So we would need to go to the city
Mhm.
to say that we want to do a formal designation. I mean, I'm sure everybody would agree with it, but there is verbiage.
Right, we have to start the proceedings,
Right.
this is one of those things. So we'll keep it on the agenda for progress every month, and just work our way towards that.
You also have a noble sycamore tree, which is planted as a seed.
The moon tree. The moon tree has its designation.
It does.
Yeah, and so we need to go through that same process for this
Well,
one.
you will know what year that one was planted.
That's true. I've tried going through all of the photographs that I can find of the city to find that particular tree in the background, you know, because you really have no idea. Trees go pretty fast down here, but I'm pretty sure that was you know, I saw one Easter photo that was taken over here, and all you could see was green in the back. You know, you see that big scar on the side of it where a large part of the tree was taken off. So this photograph was taken when it was still there, and there was nothing but a wall of green. But you couldn't, you know, you couldn't tell anything about the base of the tree. And that's where, through our outreach, if we can get photographs, if anyone has just, it might seem incidental, just something in the park, you know, it gives us everything in the background.
I used to know the gentleman who made that happen, that contacted NASA to get that seed. He is does nursery work here in Keystone Heights.
Oh.
He was very instrumental in making sure that we got that seed.
Have you been here long? How long? It
I've
sounds
been
like a
back
long time.
home since '04.
Okay. Yeah, the moon tree is, historically speaking, recent. Let's see. We have, so we're gonna keep the tree on, and we're gonna keep working on that. Plaque for Fort 11. So we have you gave us an update with,
Yes, so Fort 11, which is we think the location is basically right across the street in the nature park. And I went to the Clay County Preservation Board to see if they would add that to one of their lists for designation, so that the city of Keystone Heights didn't have to pay for it. We could offset that cost to the county. They basically came back, they thought it was a great idea, but they basically came back and said, because it is on city property, it's not in the county, that it's on the city to pay for the plaque and to do the plaque. We can still invite them to come down as we did with the historic in plaque, but it would be basically coming out of our budget. We would have to do that. So we would have to write up the wording and everything for a one-sided plaque it will be less expensive than wording for two sides, but it's not by much. And I think the fort would probably need a lot more information. So, but on that second thought is that Keystone Heights itself, this is hard to believe, does not have a designated plaque for the city of Keystone Heights. Now, even Melrose, Grandin, I think Geneva has a plaque, and Keystone has never had a plaque for the city at all. I think that has to be one of the things that we definitely work through for 2024, so that we have something in place for the centennial in 2025. As a historic commission, it seems unbelievable that we've never had anyone think about a plaque for the city itself.
No, we haven't.
And
for the
tell our
city hall,
story.
and that's it.
Yeah.
There's one over here for the old city hall,
Right.
but that's it.
It doesn't
Yeah.
talk about our city though,
Right.
as a city,
Established.
right? So I think that really needs to move
So-
on to, say, new business.
I
Yeah.
second that.
Um,
That's,
It's one of the things, one of the reasons why I wanted to network with the other heritage commissions is these forts, the Second Seminole Indian War forts, were put one every 20 miles. They did grids, 20 miles, and one fort per. So that means that, and.
So you could walk, a day's walk
It was
could get you to the next fort.
supplies and men and everything. It was to secure the roads.
Right.
And most of them have fallen out of memory, but they're here. And so we kind of like to raise awareness as a region so that the other heritage commissions, maybe if they haven't thought about it before, find their spot and maybe have a designation before that history is erased. Because this one was almost erased, you know, I mean, thank goodness for Zoya Tolls. Otherwise, you know, we would not have found it.
And Keystone Lake was called Soldiers Pond, because that's where the soldiers would cross over from the park and go across Magnolia Avenue to, you know, bathe.
Probably not.
Well, the road went right, this road actually is very old.
Yes.
It went between the forts.
Uh-huh.
And so that's the reason why it was there, this was a little choke point. And the road went right between these two lakes. Okay. Carrie's term expiration date was in October for some reason. All of our terms are supposed to be in May, and hers was in October. She had found it in her paperwork. And so we don't have, I mean, technically her term is expired, and so we put it on the agenda because no one has answered the question of why. No one has an answer for this. So technically we're 4 right now anyway, and we really need Carrie on the commission.
Has she indicated one way or another whether she is going to stay on the Heritage Commission?
She, as far as I know, she is, but I don't have a lot of information on this because Carrie was supposed to be here today. And so, you know, I have no idea what she was going to say about it. She hasn't told me because this is kind of a last minute thing.
Right.
So-
Well, I said that what Steve had addressed that, Steve Hart.
He said it was May, but it really isn't. It was October. And I think it had something to do with the fact that she came in during someone else's term. And so that is where the skew happened. But either way, as long as she says she wants to be back on the commission, I'm sure we can just,
As far as I know, she intends to stay.
yeah. So that would be good.
So we need to, whatever paperwork needs to be done for that, we've got to, I work with the city, because it's the city council that reinstates So we've
Right.
got to move forward on that one too, which will be next year because we don't have a meeting and they don't have a meeting until next year, so.
So that really would need to go
Into January.
into January, and we would need to discuss that with the city council.
Right.
And Carrie.
Yeah, and Carrie.
Okay. So the Heritage Commission Christmas party
Woohoo!
is going to be at Palmetto Cottage. December 16th at 6 o'clock. Everyone, all the associate members are invited, and their spouses. And if anyone wants to bring anything, cookies, you can express your personality by doing whatever kind of cookie you want to do. Or if you're pushed for time, and we have a quick option, which is a bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, cookies. We're inviting the city council to that also, and then active
that
members.
last night, actually.
Kind of active members in the neighborhood. Yeah, I invited them all last night. I don't know, they're kind of mad at us right now. They're gonna come. I'm sure Nina holds seats in all houses, so I'm sure she'll be there. Dave, they're always a lot of fun. If they don't have plans. But anyway, I'll be taking RSVP so we know how many to expect.
I'll be there.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
It's
fun.
gonna be fun.
Let's see. Any additional announcements? We got anything?
I wanted to do an update on the Heritage Commission, on the Heritage Museum.
Oh, yeah.
So to just back up on this, came up with an idea, just random, that we would like to have a heritage museum. And then it occurred to me that if we could do something inexpensively, relatively inexpensively, and quickly, that we could have something at least in place by 2025, which is the Keystone Heights Centennial. So that was the intention. I went to the city council in a workshop format and presented a proposal to them, outlining pretty much what we had in mind. And they went through it, read it, and said that basically they thought that there would be a better way to handle it rather than putting in like a smaller building, to put in something attached to the new Keystone Heights City Hall. And but that, I came to find out, was really like a 5 to 10 year plan. So not wanting to wait that long, went back again to another workshop with the city council and just asked them if they were open to the idea, if not having a shed, a standalone building. And I was told at that meeting that our original site, which was over at the beach, that no other buildings can be built in the beach park. So not having any knowledge of that previously, we started to look for other places on the city property that we could put a standalone building. The last I spoke with the city council, they really needed to have a more in-depth idea of like what it would cost to have a structure that was stick-built versus a temporary shed put in place. And so to do that, what we really need is a commercial, contractor that ideally would work with other city governments, that they could, because there's a different rules and preparation for city government versus just putting up a commercial building just anywhere. And so I thought if we could get a hold of maybe reaching out to Clay County, finding out who they use for commercial buildings, and then having them come and say, okay, if it was to be, say, 600 square feet And on this location, if you could give us an idea of what the cost would be, and then we could go back to the city council. So that's sort of where we are right now. So we're taking just a step back so that we can kind of get more aligned with what the city council had in mind.
That was Nina. She was supposed to open the pavilion for us, and she can't make it. She'll be at the workshop.
Okay, so we need to get a key.
Yeah, she's,
Okay.
so we just need to pick up the key and open it. All right. That reminds me,
So that's all I
There's-
have on that.
something else I wanted to move forward next year, start putting on the agenda again, is the walking tour phone app. We had it on the agenda earlier this year, and it kind of got dropped because of everything else, but because I think we wanted to see if we could mooch off the counties.
Right.
The county has an app that you can, with all of our historic information on our walking tour that we already have, because we have the walking tour every year, it's pretty easy to have a phone app. You know, they're free phone apps,
And the tourism commission, the tourism council of Clay County, I believe, is using that app for other things, for, you know, designated parks and all kinds of signage. So if we could probably find.
right, piggyback on.
Piggyback on that.
Now, and we'll have the Clay County delegation at the member appreciation luncheon.
Oh, good.
That'd be perfect.
And so we'll be able to, and that's what I'm saying, this network of all of these, you know, I'd like to start really building the network of the heritage commissions and whatever, you know, and some of these small towns that aren't even incorporated, like Melrose, have active
Right.
groups. And we can all share information and resources. But I'd like to put the phone app back on the agenda for next year. That it would just, you know, for people riding around or whatever.
Right.
Okay, anybody have any announcements out there?
Last night, as was mentioned, a gentleman, Benton Fudge,
Yes,
who ran the
Mr.
cemetery.
Fudge.
I don't know if you ever went out there with him to
I've-
find stuff.
I've worked with Mr. Futch. He moved a road for me out there. They had taken, I wanted to be on the historic side of the cemetery because that's the only place you can have a tombstone.
Right, I got the last lot
I-
last year.
Well, I had him because I needed several because I was buying for my family. They were a pretty good price, so I figured I'd buy in bulk. But we went out there to look at them, and so there were some up front, and Phil, it was back when Phil was alive, my late husband. I said, well, how about right here? And he said, it's too close to the road, it's too noisy. And I said, okay. I thought it was perfect because it was right there near everybody else who had owned my house. I was like, you know, if it's like the play Our Town, we'll have something to talk about. and so he said no. So the road a little further back used to be, it had an extra wide road and it was 2-lane. And so I got with Mr. Futch and I said, why do you need, there's no traffic jams in the cemetery here. Can we take a piece of this off and the city will make more money? And he did. He added extra plots in there and I got 6.
His funeral is tomorrow in Star.
Yes. Yeah, he was a wonderful
He
man.
was.
And the Futches were part of this community for
They
a
sure
long
were.
time. Yeah. I think, is our city sending a delegation?
I don't understand why they're having it at the funeral home, because I think there's gonna be so many people there. But he was so much part of the funeral home earlier.
Right.
With Mr. Jones, DeWitt C. Jones. He
Mhm.
worked for DeWitt C. Jones, and now his son Steve bought the funeral home. And Steve has sold out, I think, his portion, but I don't know. I think it's gonna be a huge funeral, and that's not a very big place to have it.
Right.
And when is that?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh, I wonder if we could,
Wow.
I'm gonna be there.
You gonna be there? I was thinking about going at least to show. Is he gonna be interred here at the cemetery?
And I think at Crossland Lake.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think it's Crossland.
well, he was a wonderful man. And quite the asset to the community. Okay,
Well, you didn't bring up the field trip for, I guess that got set for April 19th. That got taken out of my hands evidently. I'm not sure how that happened.
Carrie was working from
Yeah.
Italy.
But I was in contact with the teachers and they were since our last meeting, several times, and they were working on getting it approved with the principal, and all at once. They said, thank you for doing that. It's in April. I went, what? I didn't do anything. I was just talking with y'all with other dates. So I'm not sure what happened with who, but something happened, and I think, did you say that it's the 19th?
The 19th.
April 19th.
Yeah, it's
So-
scheduled for April
Right, That's
19th.
not a date, of course, that we talked about.
Right.
We all talked about.
Right, I think it
so-
was March is what we were
March
talking about.
21st,
Yes.
22nd
Yeah,
is
we're
what
trying-
we discussed and what I presented to the teachers to present to the principal. But
The date didn't work for her?
I have no idea because they kept working towards it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I said, well, she said that, or the teacher team said that she had not gotten back with them. So I said, well, we had this meeting today. If she had not by the end of last week, then Friday I'd run up there and just put a little, we're meeting, what do you think? Does those dates look good, bad? We need to wait a while. And all at once I got a text from one of the team leaders that said, thank you for talking with Ms. Turkerville, getting that settled. And I went, well, I haven't talked with her yet. What do you mean? And she said, April. I said, April what? And that's what made me ask you about it.
Right.
So I have no idea.
Yeah, I wasn't in the loop either. I
Yes,
just got
so
the
that-
text saying
yeah.
the date had been.
Yeah,
So is
so-
this date fine, is this, because our dates from last month, it was Friday, March 22nd.
That's what we were looking at.
And so the text I got changed it to April 19th. So that's from the principal, is that final?
And I wanted to go Friday and ask, and I thought, better leave it alone. Evidently, I'm sure they said that I was, asking or
Right.
liaison, and evidently somehow or another I didn't need to be in the loop.
No, you need to be in the
Trying
loop.
polite, I don't know. I have
You
no
need-
idea.
you need to
So
be
I
in the loop
decided
'cause
to
you're
leave it
here.
alone. Yes, and just
Yeah.
wait till I talked with you guys. Of course, Carrie isn't here.
Right.
I know that the school talked about making it earlier. I mean, at least the teachers did, and so did we, because of the heat, because that's about the time it was last year. So
Right.
I really don't know.
It was a little too hot last
So I
year.
guess when Carrie gets back, if that was a contact, we can talk with her and see. I don't know what happened or.
Well, I can
why.
text her and find out how the date got moved. At this point, I don't know when Carrie's going to be back because we don't have a meeting,
Till January.
And I don't know when they're going to let her, this is all contingent on the military,
Right.
I don't think she's coming back until next year. Because of
So then she'll
everything
miss
that's going
the
on.
appreciation, right? The Middle East is all heating up and her husband has to be there and,
Because I got a text from her.
So
well, I'll find out. And so,
I guess I can go ask to say I've been sent to find out what did happen since thought we wanted it earlier.
we need to get the loop back.
I know.
Well, I'll text Terry about getting the loop back.
back when all that happened. I'm like,
Because you're here and you're our vital link to the schools.
yes.
So we need you involved.
Yes, so.
Okay, so I'll get that cleared up with Carrie, because, I usually give her, she's
Yeah.
missed this meeting, I give her a report after this meeting anyway.
Ms. Turberger just called City Hall and said, I need to talk with someone, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like I said, I decided on Friday, leave it alone, because
We'll get it sorted out very quickly. Okay, anybody else? Nope, okay. Meeting, we don't have a meeting in December. Our next meeting will be January 16th. And so we're gonna head to the pavilion for our workshop.
Great.
Meeting adjourned.